what I like to do.
Well, we have to count on Greg to show up because then he can. Hi, Arnold. Whose crotch are you going to smell tonight?
Oh, Arnold Butt.
Great. Just
There's Arnold Butt. So.
Yeah. Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101.
Penis.
Wow. Okay. What did Scott do? Okay, well, we'll introduce everybody in a second here, but we are doing another show and tell episode of Beer Analysis 101 tonight because I didn't think there would be enough people around and we could do something that was low-hanging fruit. And turns out that made everybody come out of the woodwork. So, like, hey, I can get a beer. Especially one person we have with us tonight we haven't seen in a long time, which is Mr. Off the 10th himself, who's off the carbs today. Or on the
I thought he was talking about me.
Yep. Scott's got his figure as
carbs. I am a mess today when it comes to my diet, but whatever. Hi, Nick. Hi,
Chris.
What's going on? It's been a while since I've been on this BA 101.
Low hanging fruit, isn't that Greg's MO? Yes.
Hell yeah.
All right.
I don't even know who Mercy Beers is, but hi, Mercy Beers.
UK beer tubers. All right. So
Scott's
back, and we can introduce Scott now. Scott was definitely here first, but now he's last place.
Nice.
Oh. What happened, Scott? Did you have to change your camera? Or?
No, my I was showing my cat, and I unplugged my video.
Nice. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, how are you doing, sir?
Doing okay. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
Living the dream. As long as I wish it was mine.
Yep.
All right.
You guys are both wearing the Quispamsis blue shirts tonight.
It's true.
Mm. The local high school is a blue and white.
My work.
The Knights.
Okay.
My work uniforms are blue and white. Just ask Brandon, who's in the chat. We'll get to him in a second. All right. So thank you, Scott. Let's go over to Dan. Say hello.
Hi Dan. How you doing?
Tonight?
I'm good. I'm good tonight, I think. Give me a bit. I'll let you know.
And of course, we all know how Greg's doing. He's doing fucking fantastic.
This is my first time on the show, but aren't we supposed to introduce our beers when we do our intros?
It's the first time on the show tonight. Yeah, we are technically supposed to be doing beers. What the fuck happened to Chris? All right, yeah, I really should have been doing this. So I'm going to go back to Scott now and ask Scott, what did you bring with you tonight? What's your history with the beer?
What? Well, that's soon.
Okay. Do you want me to be premature? I fucking screwed up the order because I got distracted by Greg.
So tonight's selection is Drown in the Juice by Tide and Boar.
Wheeze in the Juice.
Nice. Drown in the Juice double IPA from Tide and Boar, which literally uploaded that review of it yesterday.
There you go.
Spoilers, it's good. All right, we'll get to your history for them in a second. We'll might as well do this proper. Dan. All right, yes. It's not Dan.
No.
It's Chris. Everybody's out of order now. All right.
Sorry, I had to change my name to On the Carbs today. I don't know why I was thinking off the because I was on the 10th. Okay, I got a choice for you guys to make. There's 5 of us. I'll choose the tiebreaker if it goes to it. We've got from Counterpart, we got Forever, which is not in focus. Forever.
And what is it?
It's an IPA. It's coming in at 6.5%.
Okay.
All right. The other one is Thunder IPA, coming in at 6.5%. Or the choice is eat one of the two or both.
Thunder.
No, you're more than welcome to do both.
Thunder.
Okay, Scott.
I mean, of the two, I'd say Thunder, but both. Why not?
Thunder.
Yeah. See, you gave Greg that choice of doing both. So, you know what? Let's start with Thunder and finish with the other one. All right, Thunder is first.
Right. Thunder is first. All righty. All right. So let's go over to Dan. Dan.
Hi.
Dan, the man with the
moderate sized banana.
Yeah.
With the mid-sized sedan.
Oh, come on, Nick. It's a small SUV.
That was good.
It is.
At least it's not a compact.
Ooh, hey. Don't be
Hey.
rolling on my Corolla.
So
Jesus.
I thought tonight I come bearing big ABV because that's the way I roll. So we're gonna hit up Blind Man Brewing's latest bourbon barrel aged imperial stout coming in at 11.7%, and it is made with I want to say Bardstown bourbon barrels. So yeah,
he went big. He went
I
big.
did. I did in
That's
a
the
small can.
That's the same brewery you sent me the Lafroy cask from, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, that was fucking tasty shit.
Yeah.
I feel
All right.
Dan sent me something too, though I don't remember what.
This has been cellared since February 7th, 2024, and it has been in the barrel for 200 days, 243 days.
Dan never sends me anything.
Never forget it. Fuck you. I mean,
You got one coming to you
Alright.
soon, bud.
oh, seriously? Oh boy.
We'll wait till winter's a little bit less.
Yeah. I'm not freezing
All right.
my nuts off.
All right, let's go over to Greg. Greg, hi, Greg.
Hello, Nick. Well,
Hi.
since the show in Swill, as Greg often does, I phoned it in, so I'm going to have a Nickelbrook Headstock IPA.
I thought for sure you were doing bench today.
Wait a minute.
No.
Wait. Something different
I'm
about
gonna-
that.
I'm going to have two of them.
Oh,
One's
they
an
look
I'm gonna-
different.
IPA.
I'm going to
One's
have the
reverse
double.
colors.
The double.
This is the double headstock. So this one comes in at
I
regular
get my
one is
guitar out now.
regular one is 7%. This one is at 9%. So not crazy high, but still not bad for a double IPA. And of course, just to be safe, we'll maybe do a comparison between the two and just see what we think of them. And at no point will there be any guitar playing. We don't believe in music on this channel.
Might be
Fucking meatloaf
never do anything.
for beer.
I love meatloaf. It's a great supper top.
I think it wasn't he like the star of Rocky Horror Picture Show, the straightest horror movie of all time.
Yes,
Perfect.
he was an actor and singer of the 90s.
Excellent.
He's also
I'm
the
surprised.
70s
I'm surprised Greg
didn't
didn't have Labatt. Is that? Okay.
Fucking
Uh,
mostly Canadian.
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, this week we do not have Lee with us, Mr. Lee, to moderate the chat. So there's gonna be all sorts of mean comments. There's nothing we can do about it.
Oh yeah, there might be like a troll.
I can
probably from Carrie's channel. All right, so let's introduce the beer I've got with me tonight, which
Oh yeah, you're still on here. Oh,
Yeah,
there
I'm
he is.
still here. I live here.
Oh, hi, Nick.
Trailway.
Trailway. Go figure this is
No.
Trailway. But you know what? What could it be that I got from Trailway?
I say tiramisu.
Oh, tiramisu. Does that look like a tiramisu? Yes, it's
It does
tiramisu.
look like a tiramisu.
Imperial dessert stout, which comes in not as strong as Dan's, but it's 11.5% ABV.
Oh, it's not 11.9. It's a fail.
Yeah, it's a fail.
Well, mine's a fail too. Mine's only
so let's look at
11.7.
that. Imperial stout
Oh.
brewed with chocolate, coffee, and vanilla. And it was like aged for 6 months on single malt whiskey barrels from Fist de Wa. There you go.
Is there lactose in there?
You know what? I think there is. Let's
I
take a
would
look.
assume so.
Pale malt, Munich malt. It doesn't actually say. I would presume if it's got, I don't know. It just says coffee, chocolate, and vanilla. It doesn't say anything about milk sugars. So,
It might not
So
make you
that's-
shit your pants.
hopefully not.
We'll find out later, I'm sure.
Did
Alrighty.
Nick wear his brown pants tonight?
He's got his
Brown
blue
shorts.
pants on. He's the blue guy.
I have the brown shorts. All right, so let's circle back around and get to everybody's history on it. Start with Scott. What's your history with Tide and Boar? If you have one.
No, I've been there. I've eaten
Oh,
at Tide and Boar, and I have friends
Nice.
that go there often and stuff like that. So this is a 7.9% ABV, made from Tide and Boar. Tide and Boar is out of Moncton, New Brunswick. They recently got into the got into the craft brewing and put their stuff out to the New Brunswick liquor stores. It's a juicy IPA with notes of sweet something and peaches. And it's a double IPA. Yeah. My glasses aren't working today. Sweet oranges and peaches. Yeah. Well, I just came from the eye doctor.
From the dentist for your eyes.
No wonder you're blind.
And she says I need bifocals.
Oh no.
Yeah. Jeez, you got them before I did.
Getting them old.
I can still read up close, but I need the glasses to drive. So
So I actually they actually did a test for me. I can drive without my glasses, but I need bifocals.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I barely.
So I won't be worried about getting your car or letting you drive my car without glasses on.
Without glasses, yeah.
Can you ride a bike without glasses?
I can do everything without glasses as long as
perfect.
I
Then you can go for a bike ride with your best buddy Nick. No excuses. Off you go.
You could. There's nothing stopping you.
Yes, there is.
Except for the winter.
And my bike being at Nick's place and needing a tune-up.
Well, yeah, that's
Nick will tune that shit up for you. He's like the bike master.
This year. All right. So
anyway, yes,
what's
juicy IPA. No, I don't have any. I don't have any reference, or I don't have any things with this drowned in the juice. Double IPA. There's juicy IPA. I've never had it before.
Nice. It's all right. When it comes your turn to
no
do
history
thoughts on it, I'll talk over your review. All right. So there you go. Okay. So let's go over to who we have next, which is Mr. Christopher. What's your history with Counterpart? I know you've got it.
I don't know. Where's Counterpart?
Where's Counterpart again?
It's a 3-minute drive from my house now. Right behind me is Counterpart Brewing. Yeah, it's arguably the best brewery in Niagara Falls. Well, probably in the Niagara region right now.
I was gonna say there's not really much I'd even think that could compete with it. I mean, the Exchange is extremely overpriced, and last I checked, their beer wasn't that good.
The Exchange has gone all sour. It's all sour.
It's Niagara on the Lakes. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so the Exchange has gone all sour. The Oast House is just Oast House with dirty water. Silversmith has gotten a lot better since they opened up their Toronto brewery as well.
That's usually what happens because they took a lot of black oak recipes now.
Yeah, no doubt. Lock Street is, I don't know if it's still around in Port Dalhousie. And the only other brewery that's great in the Niagara region, well, Cayman Kettle's still great no matter what because those guys are awesome. But
they're not bad, but they don't ever come up with anything new. That's their problem.
They're sitting quiet right now. So you got Niagara,
Brimstone.
Brimstone is Brimstone. They never come up with anything new either. So Counterpart and Blackburn Brewhouse on the other end of Niagara Falls are the only two breweries that actually come up with newer stuff. And even Blackburn's selection is starting to get a little bit stagnant too. So Counterpart's the only one that's changing and making a lot of new beers like almost weekly. They're upper echelon now when it comes to breweries around.
They're kind of like the hipster Bellwoods of Niagara.
Yeah, it's basically becoming that. And you know what? All the props to them. This is why their prices are so high because they can do it. And while they're also making new beers, they're dropping about 6 to 8 new beers every 2 weeks.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of beers, and that means that's why their prices are high because they're making beers like crazy, and their anniversaries, their 6-year anniversaries coming up in March, and they already pre-posted a barrel of some of Buffalo Trace barrels or whatever, so they're coming out with at least one bourbon barrel imperial stout that's going to be having at least 3 other variants to it too, so that's going to be an expensive month for me, but this beer that I'm drinking here, Thunder, this was released at the end of January. So it's about 30 days old, and it's brewed with Raquel and Simcoe Cryo. So this is like basically the bread and butter. Raquel and Rawaka hops are being used so much right now at Counterpart that they can't miss. They can't miss with these beers. Doesn't matter what they're calling or naming their beers. They all taste great. Sometimes they're almost too similar, but it is what it is. They're different. They're different beers, and I love these guys. They're fantastic. Even though, I wish their prices were a little bit better, but they're not.
You pay for quality, Chris.
Oh, and you totally do. You totally pay for quality, and I'm glad that it seems that they've gone away from going with the 341 or 345 milliliter. What's the small cans? 355 milliliter cans. They're gone. I think they're gone from those for now, and they've all gone to the 473s, which is nice because kind of justifies.
All right.
Yeah,
it's a bit painful paying $5-6 a can, even more so it's a small can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. I mean, even if it was I think they're zombies here. They're smoothie sours that they were all in small cans for the longest time, and they're now the same price for the 473 can, which makes up for their expensive shit, kind of. But yeah, that's my experience. They're fantastic, and I'm done giving them a blowjob right now. So let's go to the next person.
And you said they were about $5 a can.
Thunder right now, yeah, this is about $5 a can. This one, the doubles are sitting around $6 a can. Yeah, and then they're big. Their imperial stouts are sitting at about $24 a bottle.
Yeah. So like the double IPAs out here in New Brunswick, double IPAs are going for $6 a bit, and and this size can, and the regulars are going for $5. So I mean, you're getting New Brunswick prices, but you're probably getting better beers.
Well, I guess it's subjective, right?
The juice is pretty good. So
yeah,
the juice.
Juice. All right.
The juice is loose.
The juice. You're running down the road with White Bronco. All right. Thank you, Chris. Let's go over to who's next. We've got Mr. Dan.
Yeah.
He's going to talk about his
Before
history
Greg,
with
this is odd.
I know. It's almost like Greg showed up last.
That's all right. I'll get sloppy Dan's afterwards.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Anyways, history of the brewery. Well,
only Dan's.
Lots of history with this brewery. Considering I've had this glass for a very long time. History with this beer. This variation, my first time. Other variations of the barrel age series that comes out, 10 years worth every single year I've gotten. So yeah, I've gotten 10 different varieties of this, and this is the 10th one. So my history of just a particular one, you're looking at it right now. Nothing major, nothing big, but Blind Man's always been a very, very solid brewery, from their stouts to their sours to their fooder.
What's a fooder?
We don't have someone in here to explain it, so you're going to have to Google it, Greg. Sorry.
Oh, fuck.
A barrel that's never been used.
Actually, no, that's wrong. It's a barrel that has been used before.
Neither one of you sound like Ashley Sexton, so I don't trust you.
Like an open top fermentation.
Considering the folders that they have came from France, so yeah.
But it's like an open top fermentation, isn't it? Like
I think so. Yeah.
Lambic? Yeah.
Great big barrel that they put.
The barrels that didn't have any bourbon in them.
Yep. Whoa! But this one did, and this. Yeah. So, but I'll get into that later. That's something for later. So,
why would anyone want a barrel without bourbon in it? Come on.
Because it's got beer in it.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
What if it's a whiskey barrel? That's almost as good. Bourbon.
I mean, generally aging it doesn't. I don't. Unless it's like a really smoky Scotch or something. I don't really notice that big of a difference between what you barrel age something. And pardon me. Open up my burger. That was delicious.
Speaking of which, I've got food upstairs. So on to the next person. I'm gonna get my food.
All right. Let's keep on rolling over to Greg, who's going to tell us all about Nickelbrook.
Well, I do, but I do wish to address something with Chris before we do. I don't have ginger hair, so I didn't want to interrupt him. But Chris,
Yeah.
Caterpillar is good, but you're forgetting about one major brewery in the Niagara region, and that's Niagara Brewing Company.
Oh,
And
shit.
we know without a doubt they are in the heart of Niagara Falls, and they are the best beer. And you know what? I actually Googled them just to actually make sure they still exist. And yeah, they still exist. They still pretty much have the same stuff I brought to the bottle share. The night of the knife incident. So if we ever have another bottle share, I'll have to get some more growlers of that stuff because that stuff.
When we had
is that the Niagara Brewing Company?
Yeah, when we had the beer tuber get together, we all went over there, and they had the exact same shit on tap, probably the same year from fucking 5 years ago, still on tap.
It's aged.
Because it's a tourist trap. They can get away with it.
They have one beer I would be interested in trying though. They have a Niagara ice wine beer, 9.7% ABV. I would like to try that.
Yeah,
I would like.
I might actually go down there and get it tomorrow.
Yeah, that actually kind of seems kind of cool. Well, you know what? If they have it in cans or whatever, grab me an extra can and I'll
I'll bring it to your mom.
We'll work it out.
Get a couple extra cans.
I'll go visit your mother.
There you go. Go visit her. She's lonely. She needs the company.
Yeah, that too. And I'll bring the beer too while I'm going over there to visit.
I appreciate that. So there we go. We just made a good beer trade.
Mother?
Listen, it's a 9.7% beer, Dan. You'd do the same thing. Oh, sorry, that was Scott who talked, not Dan. I think it was Scott, wasn't it?
It was me.
Scott asking about his mother.
No, I'm asking about your mother.
Anyways, so my history with this beer. So I was stocking up on beer. Stocking up with headstock. Oh,
I see what you did there.
I see what I did there. And you know, Headstock is still one of my favorite IPAs. It's one of the few actual true West Coast IPAs, because I find even IPAs that claim to be West Coast nowadays tend to be more of the East. Yeah, they tend to be more of the East Coast style, where they're kind of a hybrid between a hazy and a West Coast, which is fine too. I mean, that's kind of what Octopus is, and I love that beer. But this is truly one of the nice bitter West Coast IPAs that I love. So, you know, tax break was going away. So I thought, okay, I'm going to order a case of it from Nickelbrook. They got it at a pretty good price. And I saw, they got double headstock IPA. Okay, so I ordered a 4-pack of that. I was tempted to buy a case, but I'm like, that's a lot of 9% beer that doesn't last that long. So that's not good for you.
You're saying that you weren't going to buy that until you showed us the picture of your beer stock right now.
Well, those are all IPAs though. Nothing there is higher than 7%.
I think you should bring that up on camera and put it on the camera. You're right now your beer stock.
I can try. We'll see if the connection holds, because my cold cellar doesn't always allow for a good connection, but we'll try. So I'm going in the cold cellar. So we have, okay, it's still working. So we got Nickelbrook, cases are open. Nickelbrook, we got Juicy Ass. We got a lot of Coors Light, because that was cheap at Costco. My wife likes it. We got Bone Shaker.
Of course you have Bone Shaker.
Space Invader as well. That was a pretty good deal. It was $125 for 50 massive cans of that. So that was a pretty good deal. So, and no tax on it. Then of course I got a case of Octopus. This is kind of hard with the camera. Case of Octopus, case of Canuck.
Lots of Coors Light.
Lots of way too much Coors Light. And then of course
I'm on my way.
Of course, I had absolute shit ton of hop water, because it was fucking. The hop water was.
I still have the one can.
The hop water was $25 a case, so I was like, I'm gonna just stock up on it. So
there it is. I have one too.
So there we go. That's the. Oh, and there's Arnold judging me. Look at him.
And a bike.
Yes, there's a bike.
Which bike's that? Which bike is that?
Well, it's the Stumpy and the hardtail, and the Arnold.
Hi, Arnold.
There we go. So anyway, now that we went on that tangent, now I was just bringing that up. So yes, I did stock up for the tax thing, because I like to save money, and now I'm set on beer till May.
Until the spring.
Until May.
Maybe till March. We'll see. The beginning of March. Anyways, but then I noticed that they had double head stock in stock. So I got a 4-pack. You know, I wanted to, you know, I didn't want to buy too much. So I was like, okay, I'll just buy a 4-pack. I also wanted to get the free shipping, of course. I think you need $100 for free shipping. So I bought their Dark Knight, which is another beer I might bring on a show and Swill in the future. Spoilers, which I believe is a rebrand of their just the regular Bastard or whatever they called it. It was the original Bastard.
Bolshevik Bastard?
Bolshevik Bastard. That's
yeah.
the one. Yeah. So I think Dark Knight is a rebrand of that because I think it's the same beer. So I got a 4-pack of that, and I got a 4-pack of this double IPA. And this is can number 3 of the 4-pack. So I've had this twice before, and this is the 3rd time. So that is my history. Now I haven't untapped it yet, so technically I've never drank this beer before because I've been very bad about untapping. So I wait like a month and then untap everything all at once.
So what's the beer called? That's the remake of or the rebrand of Bolshevik. What's it called?
It's called Dark Knight, I believe.
So is it going to be Cafe de Dark Knight coming up? And
I don't think so. They just called the new one. They just called Kentucky. So it seems like they're dropping the Bastard thing on their new beers.
well, if it's Bolshevik Bastard, that means they're going to be using this new brand for the next one, maybe for the Cafe de Night or whatever they want to call it.
I have no clue. I mean, I'm not even 100% sure it is a rebrand, but to me, it tastes like what I remember Bolshevik Bastard tasting like. So if it's not a rebrand, then it's a similar beer.
There
It's
you
the
go.
same 9%. You know, it's a pretty good price for an Imperial Stout. I recommend trying. I'm not sure if it's an LCBO release or not, but if you are
I haven't
at
seen
any
it.
point, if you are at any point by Nickelbrook, since I know you're kind of close to that area on
It's
a more
down the
regular
street
basis.
from my work. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I would recommend it. It's a good Imperial Stout. It's not going
I'll
to blow
try it.
your mind, but it's a good Imperial Stout. So, and spoilers, I recommend you pick up a 4-pack of this too.
I got to get over to Collective Arts on my way home and pick up the, what are they called? The ones that are,
Origin of Darkness.
yes, the Origin of Darkness. Thank you, Dan. I have to go pick those up because I was going to order them online, but I didn't want to spend $100 for shipping. So for the shipping to be done, so I said, "Fuck it."
Well, I mean,
Just order it
you
online
kinda-
and pick up in the store.
No, you can't pick it up. It's not released.
Well,
I have to go to the brewery.
between your work and your home, you kind of are near a lot of breweries on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of easy for you to go pick them up. So I mean, personally, I would spend the $100 on shipping because I'm not going to drive out to fucking Hamilton or wherever wherever Collective Arts is. But yeah, if you're nearby, go pick it up. Why not?
Collective Arts from work is about 10-minute drive from work, and that's actually on the way home. So I could stop in there and do it, but I'm usually carpooling, and the guy that I carpool with doesn't really want to stop anywhere. He just wants to go home. So I get it.
Wait, is it your car?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's your car. It's your car, so that's his
You make
fucking problem.
exceptions every once
Get
in a while.
in, stay in the car, or walk.
No, I mean, listen.
walk
If you're the
back to
one,
the
if you're the one driving him, he has a choice. He can wait for you for 5 minutes to go do your shopping, or he can find another way home. Because fuck him.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right. Speaking of
All right.
fucking people, let's put me back up on the screen, and we'll make this quick here. So, history. I don't have to go into my history trailway.
Why not?
I've been I just looked on Untapped, and I'm been pretty slack over the last few years of tapping every new beer that I've had. I've still had 79 check-ins from from Trailway over my last 8 years that I've known about this brewery since like 2016, 20. Anyway, this one here came out I think in the middle of January while I was still doing dry January, and even though I did last month dry, I've still had maybe I think this is maybe my like 5th can of this shit. And one of the biggest things is I'm on camera. One of the biggest things about this beer is that Trailway's Tiramisu, I couldn't believe the price of this shit. It is an 11.5% ABV, 6-month barrel aged in whiskey barrels, dessert stout. That was like $4 something a can, like $4.60 a can. This is back before the tax break, while the tax break was still going on. But as soon as they told me, I went into the brewery and asked, well, how much are those a can? Just wondering what they were, like $8, $9. No, they're $4.60 a can. I'm like, give me 6. And then I went back for more. So I've still got a 4-pack left of this shit.
Good.
Yeah, I'll get into my thoughts on it here in a second here. But who wants to? Do we have any volunteers to read comments? I know Chris has been reading comments. I can read comments. So
Yeah, go ahead.
all right. So Mercy Beers says, "Cheers all. Been a while. Time zone helps when you're off work. Cheers, dude. Nice
Cheers,
to have you on
Nathan.
here. Sorry we haven't gotten your comments here. I did say that we were waiting for Greg. That was at the very start. Greg eventually did show up. Mercy Beers says, hope Greg knows his February show in Swill and not the March edition. Well, he sounds like he's already got a beer for the March edition. Low-hanging fruit, isn't that Greg's MO? Well, yes. Brandon is in the chat saying, sorry, guys, I was supposed to be on, but when Nick said nothing was happening, I got doing some other stuff, and now I see that it's going, and I'm just watching tonight. Lol. That's my fault, because I thought it was going to be just me and Greg showing up, and I told Brandon that at work, and then all of a sudden now Scott and Chris and Dan are here, and I didn't know.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, it's one of those things like BA 101's like that, where we kind of fly by the seat of our pants sometimes. It's just because, I mean, at this point, we've gotten so casual with this thing. I feel like drinking a beer tonight.
That's what I said. I mean, I was out and was at Costco, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to swing up to the store and get some beers and do a beer review tonight.
You can cut little wobbly pops.
Yep.
Well,
I do appreciate it.
That's the nice thing about BYOB is it's very inclusive. Also, I want to challenge Brandon on that. What are you doing that is so that requires you, since you're watching the show anyway, what requires you that you couldn't just buy a beer and come on and say, hey guys, I'm drinking of this beer. I want to talk to you about this beer. Are you fucking someone?
He lives out in the country, so he literally would have had to have stopped at the liquor store 20 minutes from his place.
Well, I mean, I feel for you, Nick. He could have done it. Now, if Brandon is fucking someone, good for you. And
but I kind of told him not to. That's the thing. It's my fault. So.
Well, okay. I guess Brandon's still younger than the rest of us, so he doesn't really know the rule yet. Always just have a fridge full of beers. Have a bunch of different beers. Have them in your Nick has beers that are 10 years old, and one day he'll open them and we'll all watch him drink it. It'll be amazing. But just keep a bunch of extra beers, and again, but instead, I hope you drink some whiskey and call in sick tomorrow because you deserve. You deserve a Thursday off.
Life lessons from Greg. Just buy some beers and put it in your fridge for whatever.
I still have a Rochefort 10 that Jesse gave you, Scott, 12 years ago.
It really does help to focus your life around Nick and just make sure Nick is always the center of your attention. And sorry, who is do we know who is Mercy Beers? Is that Craig or?
No, it's not Craig. No, it's another one of the UK beer tubers.
Oh, okay. I saw him mention me a bunch of times, so I'm I don't know who he is. I'm like, cheers, but
oh yeah, you just don't remember him.
No, there's a good chance of that.
So Mercy Beer says blue shirt better than blue pants. Right. Well, you know what? Jeans are blue pants. Yeah.
I feel that might be some British humor that we don't understand. Maybe it's like a blue balls joke. I don't know.
I'm surprised. Yeah, it might be. Surprised that Greg didn't have Labatt.
I normally love
BYOB macro. We should do that, macro. Anyway.
I mean, if I gotta go macro, I usually try to stick to Molson just because my wife used to work for them and she still has a lot of friends. Molson Canadian. I mean, I'm just gonna drink that and give Donald Trump the finger because why not?
Molson Canadian, Moosehead.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. No, it's like Coors Light, Molson Canadian, and then Moosehead is somewhere on the ground where Arnold just took a pee.
All right. In your house?
Yes, Nick.
Let your dog take a pee in the house?
Yes.
I'm on a Belgian amber, so I may shit my blue pants.
Yeah, he's on Mercy Beer is drinking a Belgian amber, so he may shit his pants. Oh, good for you. Maybe in the morning is get I used to call it the case of the Belgians, where if you had a Belgian beer and you accidentally drank the dregs at the bottom of it, and then all of a sudden you get this this uncomfortable day in the morning, especially given IBS and shit. So we got another person in the chat we haven't talked to in a while. Andrew Watts, aka Andrew. Hey Andrew, how you doing? And Scott Myers is saying, "Hey you guys."
I like the Scott Myers fella.
Off the 10th saying, "Hey Andrew."
I've heard of him.
Hey Chris. Niagara Brewery sucks nuts. I agree.
Jesus. I think he means Niagara Brewing Company, but close enough.
We got off the 10th beer reviews saying, yep. Okay, so Brandon's saying, yo, yeah, I'm not doing anything important, but I do have stuff here, and I could have still come on, but it's just the middle of a video game with some friends. Well, what are you playing, that Marvel
Video
Rivals or
games.
something? Are you playing with Tanner online, one of our
Marvel
coworkers?
Rivals.
It's all in now, but
You better
I
not be
don't wanna
playing
jump to
Kingdom
this-
Come Deliverance
on this
2, or
can
Nick will be
far.
very angry.
I mean, you could jump on, but all right.
No, let's not pressure the young lad. He's fine. We just like to fuck with him.
And we got Michael Verbowitz in the chat saying, "Hi, Nick.
I don't know who that
I
is
remember
either.
the name. I haven't talked to this
I
guy.
like
in
the
a while. How you doing,
1981
Michael?
GMC 2500 Sierra, baby.
Yeah, imagine you got a nice truck. No, I just remember the name. You haven't been on in a while, but I remember like didn't you what watch like what BDU or something?
Possible. You're assuming my memory goes back that far.
Yeah, well, I know yours doesn't, but
Probably Jamie.
it could be one of Jamie's sock accounts. Yeah. No. I mean, it could be. It could be like a.
At this point, I assume Jamie is everyone in the chat.
Right.
All right, let's get on with the reviews.
Yeah, we're already thirsty. Glad to catch this chat. Yeah, we're glad to have you, man.
All right, Scott.
All right, so I guess we're gonna circle back around and talk to Mr. Fuzzy about his
Hey,
beer. Hey,
so this Tide and Boar Brewing, it's very interesting. You can actually taste the fruit
The
in this.
rainbow.
Yeah, you can taste the rainbow, the sweet orange and the peaches. You can actually taste that in the front of the beer, right? It's quite sweet at the front, but then a little bit hoppy at the back. Very drinkable, very tasty. 7.9 ABV. Goes down pretty smooth for an IPA. I don't know, man. Like, I could definitely have a few of these. Not a problem. Quite good. Leaves a little bit of dryness in your mouth. You want to take another sip. And yeah, you can really, like I said, you can really taste the peaches. They come from a can.
You're
Put the
put there by
guy,
man. In a
factory
factory
downtown.
downtown.
Yes, so very good. Hazy, right? Keeps the lacing. It's in a nice tall can. Juicy IPA. It is what it is. It's great for what it's supposed to be. I don't know if the wording, if the title is right though. Drowned in the juice. I don't know. I don't like the title. Drown. DROWN. Drown in the juice. I don't know. The title needs working, but it's a very fabulous beer. I'm gonna go. We're doing out of fives, right?
And
No,
Out of 10.
Well,
you
you
had a
can-
10 on VA 101. I mean,
you can do
could.
it. You can do it at
Okay.
a 5, and we'll just double it.
Okay, let's do it out of 10. For style, it's an IPA. It's a juicy IPA. Man, I don't think I can get it. I don't think I can get it any better. It's a 9 for sure on a juicy IPA. Yeah. For enjoyment, I'm gonna go with another 9. I would definitely have another one of these. Absolutely, quite good,
Nice.
quite good. Out of Moncton, New Brunswick, proudly brewed in Canada, New Brunswick, Canada. But yeah, the only thing I didn't like about it was the title. It's just not right. It needs to be a little bit different.
This is a weird title.
It is a weird title. Anyway, like it. I like it a lot.
Nice. I'm surprised to
Extra-
hear you
extra
give
strong
it a
beer.
9. Surprised you gave it a 9. 9's what I gave it in my review the other day.
Wow.
And listen, I don't like IPAs. I really don't.
I know,
And
but that
they
one's like
give-
super silky smooth.
yeah, it is super silky smooth. And I would drink one or two of these, not a problem. Not a campfire beer though.
Probably not.
Oh, and the flavor. As soon as I open the can, the flavor just comes right out at you. Right, it just explodes right at you. Right, and then it lingers, and the
All over
flavor's
your face.
very fruity, very florally flavored. You know.
I think
keeps-
Scott's interviewing for a sales job right now. I love it
Yep.
because I'm going to
He
do the
wants
same
to-
fucking thing too.
He's gonna have a
Sell-
job
I'm gonna
over
sell
at
my
Tide
beer to
and
all
Boar.
you.
Ah,
He's gonna have a job over at Tide and Boar after shilling Tide and Boar for selling.
I love
I
it.
don't know. It's good. It's
He
good.
was a great
Hey, but
booster
it-
for Moosehead. He was there. They don't know what they're missing.
I mean, and yeah, Scott's record with working at breweries has been stellar so far. So why what could go wrong?
Batting 1,000.
Nothing to see here, people. Oh, look at this, guys! Look, come over here.
Listen, none of you have worked at breweries. None of you.
That's true.
You're technically correct.
Um,
Scott's the only one here
you're
that's worked at a brewery.
I have.
I've worked in a casino.
I feel Nick.
Casino, no, a brewery. A
Dan-
brewery.
Dan
I
worked at a
have worked
brewery?
at a brewery.
Okay.
I bottled beer for Far.
There you
So I
There you go.
bottled and packaged beer. So
I also feel Nick has spent more time at breweries than you spent working at Moosehead. So
I'm the influencer for
Maybe.
the Niagara region. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's true.
you know what? I don't doubt that.
that's true.
That tracks.
Ready?
Klizak,
No,
They
you're the
just
spokesperson for
literally-
counterpart.
No one has more.
He
No one.
basically is.
No one has ever had. Well, maybe Greg. No one has had more free beer from a company than me.
I haven't
Okay, I'll
had
give
that
you
much
that.
free. I haven't had that
A
much free beer
company
for the most
or
part.
companies? Because
A company.
I think
A
I'm up there with
company. No,
okay,
you
A
win.
company. No. All right.
Oh,
there.
Scott had free beer from Moosehead for almost a year.
Yeah, Molson wasn't
Damn
as
it. Now I
generous
gotta
as
go work at bench.
Molson was. What was it? It was.
Oh, you're gonna work
Descriptor
at bench to piss off Dan.
Oh,
I had my
Molson was
niece
what, Greg?
I was saying Molson. I just used to get free beer from Molson. I think her compensation was a 12er. I think it was every week, but it may have been every 2 weeks. But usually she just got herself Coors Light because that was just her thing. So like, I rarely would get. The only time she'd get free beer from me would have been like when they had like new stuff. Like it would be like, oh hey, we got a new beer, so we give the staff a whole bunch of coupons to. It was usually they never gave you the beer; they always gave you coupons that you could just get it for free at the beer store.
Mhm.
Because you know, for a
That's
company like Molson, they have an on-site bottle shop. It was the most fucking sad and pathetic bottle shop you've ever seen. It was tiny, and all they really carried is their flagship products. Like even like kind of more interesting stuff. Like I think Molson Canadian Wheat was out at the time she worked there. You couldn't even get that there. It was like, oh, you want it? We'll give you a coupon. You can get it at the beer store. I was like,
Their bottle shop had 2 fridges, one with Canadian, one with Coors Light.
I'm actually not fucking kidding. That's pretty much what they had. And then they had like stuff on like that wasn't refrigerated, that was just sitting on the floor and stuff. But it was like for a place like Molson, I would have expected a big bottle shop, and it's like literally probably one of the smallest bottle shops I've ever been to.
Molson Excel on the floor.
Pretty much, yeah. Like what you're describing is true. Now, I will say the cool thing about working for Molson, the free beer maybe not as exciting, but the cool thing about Molson, which I actually found weird because it's at a location that's not super accessible by transit. You can take transit, but most people drive. And they have just a big lounge area. Let's call it a cafeteria with a bar, and it's completely serve yourself. But they have kegs, they have fridges full of cans and bottles, and it's completely take what you want. Pour yourself a draft. No one's supervising. Bring your friends, bring your family. You're not supposed to overdo it with bringing guests, but again, nobody's checking. But it's just like after work, everyone just goes there, pours themselves as many beers as they want, and then they drive home. And it's like this seems like a massive liability issue.
So in Moosehead's Toronto shop, Mississauga, Toronto, whatever. Same thing, right? Like fridge full of beers, pour your own, no problem. See you later. Never had any issues. You just take whatever you want, and they refill it every day. In the St. John one, it was a little bit different. They had to regulate a little bit more because there was a lot more foot traffic. It was like that was the brewery, that was the everything was there kind of thing. So
yeah,
they had servers and they monitored what you were taking. So. But in the Toronto one, it was just the sales office, so they just stocked it.
yeah. And I think it's great treating adults like adults, but unfortunately, you are going to have that one guy that just drinks a 12-pack and then drives
that
home,
one
kills
Greg.
the family on the way home, and then it's like,
Yeah,
oh well, we probably shouldn't have done that.
That kind of sounds a little sketchy.
In Toronto, there wasn't like the fridge wasn't like super stocked. It's not a big fridge. It was like a little bar fridge, like small, right? And there was maybe a dozen beer in there, or maybe like 2 dozen beer in there tops, right? And you would come in and get a beer, maybe 2 at tops, and you would never like. Everyone was super responsible with it, right?
Yeah.
We actually got responsibility training at Moosehead. So
Yeah, as you should, because they want to cover their own ass, of course.
Yeah. So I mean, responsible drinking, and I promote responsible drinking too, right? Like, it's just not worth it.
Always, definitely never down a 12-pack and then go for a bike ride with your best buddy Nick.
Hold on.
Hey, wait a minute.
Hold on.
We've actually done that. Remember that Ferguson trip, Scott? Both Ferguson trips.
I know that actually
Scott
sounds amazing.
gone for a bike ride before, that's for sure.
2 weeks ago.
All right, I'm done. Continue on.
It was like 3 years ago.
One day when I come to New Brunswick, we're gonna just get annihilated, and then we're gonna go on a bunch of mountain bike tracks.
You have to come to New Brunswick first, Greg.
I know it's gonna happen one day.
One day.
Listen. Eventually, Lady Lee will be like, "I want to go to New Brunswick, and I'll follow her there because I follow nice butts."
It just has to be outside of the window of July to August.
Well, that's for Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee, he's got swamp ass he has to worry about, but the rest of us.
I thought it was about you. You don't want to come here because you don't want to come here in like July and August because of the hottest points of the year.
Oh yeah, that might be me too.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, we'll figure it out. It might be me coming alone though without Agnes because we have to look after her.
Take me with you.
Corvette. Take
me with you.
I could take Chris in the Corvette. That'd be good.
You know what? That would be awesome to have.
We wouldn't have much room in the car, but
I've gone up to Ontario enough times. All right, so let's go over to Dan, and I think we've talked enough to Fuzz. Thank you, Scott.
I think Dan's deferring to me.
I want to know what I want to know what Dan's eating right now. What is in your mouth?
That goes first.
What's in your?
Oh yeah, it's Chris that goes first. I'm sorry. Dan can continue eating his Chinese.
Thank you. I'm having my Chinese food,
or as the Chinese call it, food.
Regular food.
He's
Western
not wrong.
slaw.
He's not wrong.
Western
I carpool with the Chinese guy. I'm like, what do you got for lunch? He goes, food. I'm like, oh, okay. I know what it is.
Chinese food?
Thunder.
I got a burger and French fries, you racist.
That's it. I gotta sell this because I haven't been on in a while, so I'm gonna make you guys want to drink this beer.
Okay.
Thunder. Rawaka, Rakau, and Simcoe Cryo. And it's funny because most Simcoe
lightning strike.
Shut up, Nick.
Most Simcoe hops will give you that cat pee smell, but this one doesn't, because the Simcoe Cryo does not give you the cat pee smell. So, Nick, you don't have to worry about shitting in the cat box. So, this beer has every fleshy citrus note on it. It's got pineapple, mango, orange, tangerine, peach, passion fruit. They're all in there. This is basically a citrus bomb, which is fantastic. But the only other thing is, though, it's not as, I want to say it's not full body. It's approaching full body, and it's surprisingly because it's a 6.5% alcohol beer, and yeah, it's delicious. I mean, and Greg would totally agree with me if he drank this that it is fantastic. That's my favorite word.
I might.
It looks very orangey, like orange juice.
It's very similar to orange juice. It's basically just orange juice or any citrus fruit juice in a glass, and it's delicious. And I actually can't wait to drink the other one, which I can't remember the name of it. Anyone else remember? What's it called? Oh yeah, Forever. Forever's coming up, but we'll review that one when Nick has done his, and I'll open up and drink that one. But yeah, so for style, as an IPA or an India Pale Ale or a hazy beer, this is good. It's a standard 6.5%. It's not going to knock your socks off. I'm trying to sell this, but I really can't. I'm not going to lie. I'm gonna give this one 8.5 out of 10 for style and personal preference. I'll give it an 8. And
Yeah.
that's all.
And so I have questions. Does the pineapple really come through on the flavor?
The pineapple does. The ones that aren't that you can really pick, the ones that you can't really pick up that are really there. What I'm trying to say is they're there, but they're not deeply flavored as the mango and the passion fruit. You can pick them up in the background, but the pineapple for sure, tangerine, peach for sure. But
I find when you put a pineapple in with other citrus drinks, it overpowers all the other citrus fruits.
Hey, Jimmy C. The good Jamie.
No, it doesn't. The pineapple does not overpower this at all.
But you know what I mean, like you know, and sometimes
it's basically like when you put raspberry in any other fruit drink, all you're tasting is smelling the raspberry. Yeah,
right.
It's the same idea. I get it. Yeah, but the pineapple's not overtaking this beer, whatsoever. No. And
is there any orange zest in it? Like sometimes you have that ting of orange zest versus orange juice.
You have a little bit of the pithiness from the orange peel at the very end of it. It's there's a little bit of a bitterness and a little bit of a drying finish on this one, but it starts off sweet.
Yep.
And it stays basically sweet. It dies off right at the very end to give you a little bit of a dry, bitter finish on it. Makes you keep going back for more.
Yeah. No, interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting.
All right.
And now I'm going to open the other one up.
Right on. Awesome, Chris. That sounds great. We'll circle back for your forever version. So we go over to Dan. I apologize for the confusion.
That's okay. I confused myself too, but I'm not old. So
yeah, well,
you're older than me.
Yeah, I am, unfortunately. But you still hit my decade, so fuck you.
You're the only one in the fives. Wait, is Chris in the 50 now?
Oh, I'm in the 50s.
He just hit 50. Do you miss that?
Yeah, no, I remember. I knew somebody hit the 50s, and we're like,
that'd be both of us.
The only thing I want to know from Dan and Chris is how are your hips doing right now?
Oh, my hips are fine. My knees, not so much.
Okay.
Hips don't lie.
Underlay. I got the Shakira hips. We're good. My hips don't lie.
All
Dan,
right.
tell
my
us
wife,
about your beer,
Shakira.
Dan.
What's that?
Tell us about your beer.
Thank you.
I
definitely will. Thank you for putting me back on track. My mind is not what it used to be.
Oh, Miss Mary ain't what she used to be.
Shut up.
God, all I'm thinking is fucking Chris fucking Michael Caine now. Thanks, guys.
Dan, talk about your beer, buddy.
You know what, Greg? If you need to go do something about that, you can go off camera.
No.
Anyway.
See, Dan, look. There we go. Yeah. Now I can. I'm back.
The gorilla grunts just didn't quite cut it. Anyways, now that Greg has spoiled my dinner, thank you, Greg. This beer.
Secret sauce. Dan, you have secret sauce.
No, I do not have cream of some young guy.
Oh, Jesus.
No MSG.
Yeah, no guy ding.
Anyways, let's get on to this beer before it goes off trip. Wait, too late. So this beer is, as we all say here, is a little thin.
Speak up, round eye.
Fuck.
Shut up, short round. Anyways,
I'm ready to take this headset off.
Yeah, don't blame you. But it's a little thin, but at the same point in time, the flavor actually compensates for the mouthfeel. Very bold flavor. I do believe they use the Icarus base, which is a 10% beer right there. And then they throw it in the barrels. And aging for 243 days, it brings out that barrel age quite nicely. I was reading up about the barrel that they use, and actually this is a barrel from Kentucky. So Bardstown Bourbon Company is actually out of scrolling, Bardstown, Kentucky.
What happened to buy Canadian?
So this is from Lacombe, Alberta. Fuck you, Nick.
It's
Oh, the barrels are.
The
and
barrels.
To be fair, the barrels
this
are
barrel
the barrels
was
were
here
before.
fucking Trump
They
was.
haven't paid the
Fuck
tariffs
you.
yet.
Yeah, those barrels are Biden administration barrels. So it's
Exactly.
fine.
So I mean, they're safe. Anyways,
Biden
so
bourbon.
for the people that are watching in the States, Michael, I'm very sorry. But it's actually a really tasty beer. It's got a good flavor behind it. The profile is absolutely amazing. Again, yeah, the body's a little thin, but you don't have a lot of adjuncts in it. You don't have anything else to add to the body of it. It's pretty much straight up a stout inside a barrel. The bourbon notes come through quite nicely. The wooden tannin notes. Learning how to speak again, Jesus Christ! Learning how to review beers again after only doing 4 beers in 2 months. There we go.
Oh shit! Is Dan on a golden ticket tonight? I
We need to
I
trim
remembered
the
that.
time down.
Premature.
Yeah.
It's a
For
preemie.
half an hour to.
Preemie ticket.
It's a preemie ticket, but yes, honestly, it's actually a really good beer, really solid. These guys do no wrong with their barrel aged beers. So for the style, it is a 9.5. For my personal enjoyment, you know what? I'm enjoying it with my food, so it is a 9.5 as well. I really like it.
So
And I
Dan, I
can't
got a
wait till
question
next-
for you.
Yeah, I might have an answer.
All right, so 243 days in the barrel. Why that weird number? Do you know?
Because they do it on different days. I don't know, maybe because they had to give back the barrels.
I just find that to be a really weird number.
You know what?
Not
If you
to,
go
not
back
to say
the-
not to say like a year on barrels or 2.5 years or a year and a half. It just seems like a weird number at 243. Do you know what I mean? There must be some kind of significance to that one. You should actually email them and ask them why 240.
You know what? It's not just 243. I've had ones that are 267. I had ones that were 176 days. I've had others in here that were almost 328 days.
So generally speaking, if they have a barrel house, they should have a barrel house manager who basically is in charge of making sure how all the barrels are doing. My suspicion would be is that they probably have a guy who taste tests the beer every week or so to see where it's at, and 243 is where he's like, nope, this is it, bottle it. That would be my guess anyway.
That sounds like a reasonable guess. Now, Dan, do you think that because the body of that beer isn't as thick and as big as it should be at 11.7%, that it should be a bigger body, or no? Or do you think the barrel actually brought down the body of that beer?
No, because
in the barrel that long.
Having their Icarus beers, their bodies are a little thin. And it's just the way it is, but it's still a 10% beer. So it is it's still classed as a stout, even though the body is a little thin, because it comes down to personal preference too. We all like big bodied, bold imperial stouts.
Big bloody booty.
Yeah.
which makes sense, because when I'll go grab the counterpart beer that I recently reviewed, and that sat in barrels for 2 years and then got moved to a different barrel for another 6 months, I believe, and it was the fucking thickest thing I've ever fucking drank in my entire life. It was like motor oil, but it was just an imperial stout.
But did they add anything to their base? Because that's the other thing that comes into play too. I mean,
I don't know, what can you add? I mean, you've got your 4 core, right? And then
usually if my opinion, if it's done properly, the base beer should be practically undrinkable, because it should be so thick, so syrupy, disgusting to drink.
Got it.
And then when it sits in a barrel for 2 to 3 years, then it becomes kind of more thing like that. That's the problem. Is, do you take a regular 9% imperial stout, even one that's got a good body on it? You age it, like a barrel is always going to thin out a beer no matter what. So really, that's part of the,
which is probably what happened to Double Tempest right there.
Yeah.
I do think Double Tempest, I don't know for a fact, but I suspect that the last few years they've been brewing something not quite as thick as it used to be, because the older double tempest used to be like you could chew them, and the newer ones are nowhere near as thick. So.
It's changed after it's been put in a can. It's changed down to it's too thin now.
Well, it's owned by a global conglomerate, so I kind of wonder how much of that affects it. But yeah,
there's that.
Yeah.
Once it went. Sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that overall, it's still a really good beer, and it's one of those ones that, yes, it is a stout. Yes, it is an imperial stout classed as the price. Is it something that I would like as a full body? After having that whole Origin of Darkness, fucking basing a lot of that off that Origin of Darkness, but at the same point in time,
big body, right?
That body was thick.
Yeah,
that body was really thick, but the adjuncts that they had in it also probably thickened it up because of the lactose.
Not necessarily. Sometimes the adjuncts might actually thin out the beer.
Yeah, but you put lactose in it, that can thicken it up right there.
Yeah, if there's lactose, for sure it's going to bring it up.
It depends on so many factors. It also depends, like, are they using wet barrels or are they using dry barrels? Because that makes a difference as well. Like there's
that's interesting because now you got to look at it. Now you got to look at a bottle or a can and look at it and say, oh, this has been aged so long in these barrels, blah 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 blah, and then everyone's expecting it to be a huge body, and then they take a sip of it and go, what the fuck am I drinking this water for? Like it's way too thin, even though you think
it's going to be a big body.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I'm starting to sort of side with that whole thing of, you know what? If it's not a big body, if the flavor's there, then the flavor's there.
Oh, I agree 100%. And the other thing is too, and every brewery should do this, and a lot of them do. That they should. Bellwoods is a good example of this. When they bring out BYOD, and when they brought out, okay, every single one of those is a big body and it's super sweet. Greg's not a big fan of them, but when they bring out those beers, the bourbon barrel imperial stouts, they're fantastic. But then they release the base, and then you can understand why they're so good when they're in the barrels after.
Yeah,
they should always bring out.
The base was very sickly sweet.
The base was sickly sweet, but it's not as sweet as the bourbon barrels after. The base is basically what I'm trying to say is that if they're going to release a bourbon barrel aged version of a beer, they should actually release the base too, so we can actually.
And that's why I said the Icarus base, because I know what the Icarus base is, and this is why I'm judging it off the Icarus base.
I actually 100% agree. Any barrel aged beer, they should always release the base, even if it's not good. I want to taste it. I want to know what it started as.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And I mean that's why I like this, because I like the Icarus base at 10%. The alcohol is very well hidden. It is a little bit thin, but it's a very good, bold stout for the flavor. And this is why I really enjoy this one, because it's got the Icarus stout flavor, but it also has the bourbon barrel aged. It has everything else. It has the kick that it needs to bump it up to 11.7.
I like how you just said that the base was thin before it went into the barrel. So you already know what you're getting into. And that's the point, right?
Yep.
You want to know what's going into the barrels before actually drinking.
Exactly. And I have no complaints about it. So that's why it gets high marks for me.
We'll eventually move on from Dan here, but
we will. We're talking about beer here, Nick.
I know, it's an interesting conversation.
This is an excellent.
I just know that we're up over an hour. We're still talking about our beers here.
That's okay. We're talking about beer on a beer show, Nick. It's either this or buttholes. What do you want us to talk about?
Oh God, no! Don't go
penis.
Back.
Penis.
All right. Penis. Anyways, there we go. That's my.
Has anyone had a good bowel movement lately?
I got shit tonight.
I'm on my way.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Let's go over to Greg. Greg can talk about his bowel movements.
I actually
had several daily.
I actually had one just off camera where you saw my camera.
Lost 3 viewers talking about bowel movements.
I went to go take a shit like 10 minutes ago. You saw because you were talking about your other stuff. Anyway,
did you even wipe?
No, I bideted. Even better. My butthole is lickably clean.
Over reliance on water squirting up your arsehole.
All right, hey, don't even ask that question again, Greg. All right, go ahead. What were you saying?
Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, well, so I mean, this beer's good. I'm not gonna say it's not. I find it kind of funny because so Nickelbrook, not only do they give you their they give you basic tasting notes. So regular headstock, it's pine, citrus peel, and classic.
What the hell's classic?
That's not really a flavor note. I'm just assuming it's like an old school old IPA, but I'm not sure. But that's the flavor note. Is it's classic.
Yeah, because you're looking at the single, not the
pine
double,
was
the
the
single,
classic.
the classic.
Or grapefruit.
I'm looking at both. Relax, Mr. Kliz.
Oh,
And then it has a pour. Then it has a pour color of marmalade. So, yes, I am a pour color. Then the double headstock. So it has tasting notes: powerful, grapefruit, and pine, with a pour color of electric orange.
Oh God!
Electric orange.
Sales pitch.
Yeah.
.com.
I thought I was bad.
Right.
So, comparing the two of them, now regular headstock is one of my favorite beers. It's one of the few that just does not give a fuck. If you don't like IPAs, you don't like bitterness, don't get headstock because it doesn't give a fuck if you like it or not. They make it, you enjoy it or you don't enjoy it. It's up to you. But yeah, I love the beer. This beer to me, the double IPA, taken in a vacuum is actually quite good. Is it an amazing double IPA? No. It's shocking. You might shocking to hear this from me, but I find it a little too sweet for a double IPA. I like to have a nice malt body on a double IPA, but I don't want it to be overly sweet. And this one I do think has too much of a malt body. My big thing with it, my biggest issue with it is that it does not resemble a headstock. And I'm trying them side by side right now. Headstock, old school, bitter, does not give a fuck. This one, it's a lot more. I mean, I'm going to use that silly term, East Coast IPA again. So it feels like it's kind of halfway towards a hazy. It's not quite a hazy. Yeah, grapefruit as fuck. They definitely got that on the thing. But it's also kind of has a sweet resininess to it, which I almost feel like they just overdid it with the malt a little bit. I know with the double IPA, they want to try to add a little extra malt to balance the hops. I feel in this case, they went too far on the malt side. This one is actually, I think, less bitter than the regular headstock. And
what's the age on the double?
There's no age that I'm aware of. It should be fresh. So it's 20 years, but 20 years they've been in business. So that's the only age statement on this can.
I'm just saying, maybe it fucking oxidized on you a little bit.
Oh, the actual canning date. Okay, sorry, I misinterpreted your question. Let me have a look at that. It is packaged on the 2nd of December 24. So that doesn't strike me as overly old.
No. A couple months old, but yeah, it shouldn't be that bad.
I think it's just the flavor profile. Oh, Jesus, I just spilled headstock on my stuff. That's terrible. Luckily, I got it mostly on my pants, so it's okay.
Arnold, clean up on Greg.
Yeah, I might. The headstock is January 20th. So before I go to clean this up, I'll give my ratings. So yeah, this is good, but I find it a little weird. To me, it doesn't strike me as anything similar to a headstock. Like I even questioned whether a headstock was the base. They don't tell you what hops are in this, but I would have actually been curious to know if they changed any of the hops or if it's literally the same beer and they just added a whack load of
Nick, look it up
to it to compensate.
Huh?
But yeah, that's my biggest problem with this beer is it doesn't. If you gave this to me and said this is supposed to be similar to headstock, I'd be like, I don't think it is, but okay. As a double IPA, it's a solid. I'm gonna say it's a solid 7. Double IPAs are one of my favorite styles, and when they're done correctly, they are just absolutely fantastic. As in the words of Klizak R.I. Lee, and this one is not fantastic, but this one is good. Personal enjoyment, I'm going to give this an 8 because it is a double IPA. It is 9%. It's still pretty fucking delicious. And if Nick invited me over to his house and served this to me, I would have absolutely no complaints at all. But if there was other IPAs Nick offered me, I might.
You would have to visit New Brunswick first.
Listen, Nick, we got to go one step at a time. So let's continue with baby steps, and we'll get there one day.
I have questions.
Yes. Scott. Yes.
Thank you. Would it be something that you would sit around, like a guitar circle and drink?
Oh, do I get my
Ooh,
guitar out
music
now?
reference. Greg won't get it.
Yeah, I don't do guitar circles, so I don't know, but perhaps somebody who's more musically inclined might.
Well, you're the one drinking the beer, not
Someone named
Would
Chris.
I personally join a guitar circle? No, I'd much rather join a bukkake circle.
Would this be something that you would pick up for a bukkake circle?
Absolutely. I feel it with thicken certain juices.
Just wondering.
Oh God, he's doing it.
All right. Oh shit. Read the real headstock here.
No, I'm done.
Alrighty. Okay. So
All right,
now
Greg's
that Greg is finished, I can take my turn here. I'll try to make it as quick as possible because they're already
Sell your
on
beer, Nick. Sell your
1
beer.
hour. Sell my beer.
Sell your beer.
Okay. So I've got this much left in my glass after about an hour of listening to everybody talk.
Jesus, Nick,
So-
we're trying to entertain you.
I know I should stop being so passive aggressive.
This is the best goddamn
no, you're-
BA 101 ever.
It's because I'm here.
I actually took the liberty of not writing anything down for this one here because I figured that I could let the beer
Nerd.
stand for itself. So taking a taste of this, they're not lying. Whereas it has lots of chocolate, coffee, and vanilla in this thing. I get predominantly chocolate out of here. As far as a like a whiskey barrel aged stout, I get it. It's nice and thick. It's got all the roasty stout, roasty chocolatey stout flavors you want. The chocolate is definitely amped up from the fact that they added more chocolate to it. I think I've had this one here. I think this is a similar beer to the what would they call it? I think it was called Working Late Coffee Imperial Stout that they did, which was actually aged for 12 months in the same kind of barrels, and this was only aged for 6. But I feel like this one, despite being younger in the barrels, kind of draws more from it because the coffee is not quite as stale. This one comes off as thicker because of the added ingredients, and the only thing I could say that kind of detracts from it is it's a little on the sweet side, but it's not so cloyingly sweet that it's kind of grossing you out either. I feel like this one, while it does kind of come off as thick and sweet and kind of like it's a little harder to sip, I feel like I have a much more enjoyable experience out of this one than I did out of the Working Late, because that one was tasty, but it was just too damn thin. This one strikes the balance about body thickness that I really like getting out of an imperial stout. The only problem with it is it's just a little bit on the sweet side. But at the same time, like for the mere fact that this the mere fact that this thing is like $5 a can is fucking insane. Like you're talking to me, it's like a 6-month barrel aged beer. Dessert stout, 11.5% ABV, and it's the same price as your everyday normal like craft beer here in New Brunswick. Like, this is a fucking steal. It's a very tasty beer, incredibly well priced, and it's super fucking tasty. I've been just sort of like dulling these out, like having one every once in a while and just friggin' enjoying it because this is a crazy good beer for a crazy good price. Is there better imperial stouts? Of course there is. But is there better for the value? This is an insane value. I'm almost feeling like maybe now that I'm off the dry January bullshit that I can actually go back and see if they have any more of this, but I'm willing to bet it's all sold out. I got 4 cans of this. I'm probably gonna have one every once in a while, as long as they don't go bad. As far as barrel-aged imperial stouts go, I've had better, like Double Tempest, Bring Out Your Dead, Bourbon County. They're all better than this. I ain't gonna deny it. But I think the Trailway, this is one of the best efforts Trailway has ever made. I've said in the past where Trailway's bourbon barrel-aged beers or barrel-aged beers in general tend to come off a little thin. And I think it's because by added virtue of not aging it so long, and also adding stuff to it. It comes off as a little thicker, and which is a win. But at the same time, it's friggin' enjoyable. So I mean, for the style, I'm going to give it an 8.5 because there is better. But for the overall enjoyment, I'm going to give it a 9 because this is super friggin' tasty, and you can't deny that the price is right.
Bitch.
Bring on down.
Price
Come on
is
down.
right.
We got fucking Barker.
I've
Bob
got
Barker Lowe
I've
over
got
here.
one small
All
thing
right.
about your statement tonight.
What's that?
Dry January bullshit. You volunteered to be part of that dry January because it's bullshit. That's on you.
Pure
No
bullshit.
I know it's totally my fault. I was doing it both as a weight loss thing and also as a fundraiser. I raised not quite as much money as Dan did, but I still raised over
still going.
three. I know you did. I raised over $380. I'm happy with myself over that.
I have
Yeah. Yeah, but to be fair, Nick, you didn't get stuck with 14 weeks of extra sobriety, so you're the winner at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one that fucked up that one. So, like, but
you
Dan,
know what?
Dan,
just,
I mean,
you know
I'll
what?
put Dan on screen just temporarily to talk about that. Like, how much have you raised so far?
At this point in time, I am at, with everything said and done, I am at $1,340.
Wow.
going to where?
Holy
Going to
shit.
what?
pretty good.
Going towards the Canadian Cancer Society.
Here you go.
So you're still looking to try to beat my all-time record then?
Your all-time record was only $700.
No, it was $1,700.
Was it? Hang on. You know what?
Actually, look it up. Maybe you're right. I think it was.
I don't think it was $700. Like, let's see.
Well, I don't think Greg's created his account this year, so I don't know if he's still.
No,
there
I
in
haven't
the
created
system.
for several years.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
Nick,
he's not
I
on
have
there.
questions.
So
Nick, I have
What's that?
questions.
Scott, what do you have for question?
Hold on, I'll see if I can look it up myself.
How is the coffee taste on it? You said it was a fresher coffee taste, but is it overpowering the chocolate and the vanillas?
No, I would say the chocolate and the vanilla are definitely stronger notes, but you do tell the coffee is there.
Right.
But the coffee doesn't come off as stale. Like,
Right.
I don't know. I know you don't know how much coffee you drink, Scott. I don't think you drink coffee at all, do you? Just a little zero. But so
Zero.
yeah, but you've had coffee tasting stuff. You ever had like the taste of like the coffee it's been in the pot for way too long?
No, I haven't
Like
had
it's
coffee
that,
at all.
like almost like kind of a resiny kind of taste in the back of the
I've-
palate. No, you
never
don't
had
get that here. You get a nice little like mild coffee note, but it's so blended in with the chocolate and the vanilla.
Is it that you don't
That-
like coffee at all, Scott? Or?
No. Don't like coffee at all.
Okay. Even
Don't
in
like the taste.
Oh,
No.
not even.
There's a heat the
flavor?
coffee, but no more that you wouldn't necessarily like. Even if it didn't have coffee added, but you tasted coffee, it'd be more from the roast.
Right. So like the max coffee drink I would have would be a coffee crisp.
Wow. Okay.
That's fair.
That's
That's pretty much what you're getting in a lot of stouts, imperial stouts.
like
You're
two
getting like
words.
basically a coffee crisp kind of coffee. You're not getting something that's brewed
Right.
unless it's
Yeah.
brewed
And
with
water.
coffee beans or brewed in coffee specifically. Then yeah, you'd be okay with it.
All right, so let's go to the comments. Speaking,
Oh, wait,
going back
did you put your scores?
Yes.
Okay.
I said 8.5 for style and 9 for overall enjoyment because I've had better coffee stouts. I've had better imperial stouts. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
This is like an insane value, and this is super tasty.
Yeah,
So-
that's a good price
Yeah.
for that beer for sure.
Oh yeah, $5. I would gladly pay 8 or 9 for a can.
Do they have any more?
I have to go back. I got to go back and see if they haven't sold out of these.
If I were you,
I
I'd be stocking up with another at least 2 4-packs and then and
I
hold on
agree.
to them.
I'll go in there sometime this week. I'm just thinking of going up there too.
Nick,
But
I'll read the comments
tomorrow's payday.
I'll read your comments while you do your stuff.
There's no math to do, so
Oh yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, playing in what Dan was saying. Dan's kind of turned around. It looks like he might be doing a review of himself.
No, he's eating.
No, he's eating.
He's eating his
He's eating
Chinese
his food.
He's eating his food.
food. So yeah, like Michael Verbowitz said that you've had Labatt's Blue non-alcoholic. Nick, I think it's just as good as the standard blue, but searching for good NA alternatives. We actually had a number of good, and I mentioned in the comments we had a number of good NA beers that we looked at over dry January, and that kind of plays in what we were just talking about. I haven't had the Labatt Blue non-alcoholic, but I've seen it. I should check it out if you're saying it's great. So he says that's one of them. I think he was talking about Molson Excel. I think Greg had brought that up. We're talking about Greg, so he'll pay attention now.
Molson Excel.
If you see any of Bellwood's non-alcoholic, they have some decent ones. Didn't they have like they had a 0.97 beer at one point? I remember having that.
Yeah, they still have them. I haven't tried them.
Yeah, and there's steak. Isn't there a Stay Classy 0%? And there's the two Jelly Kings. I'd be really curious to check out those Jelly Kings. I recommend it Guinness Hero. And Muskoka beer is great too. Like Muskoka beer lime lager is fucking refreshing as fuck. If you drink those cold, and there's like the lime notes on them are great.
Is that like, an NA? Is that NA?
It's an NA beer with lime in it.
Wow,
So
I'd actually try that.
I got it at Superstore. Take a look and see if you can find it.
Really? Superstore? Yeah. Really? Okay.
Yes, Guinness is every bit as good as the standard too. Guinness 0% is phenomenal when it comes to an NA.
I've never had it. I'm surprised I haven't had it.
You should really try it. If you like Guinness at all, do it.
Yeah, if you like Guinness, it's fucking tastes like a Guinness. Like it's amazing.
It literally tastes almost identical to a Guinness. All right, Verba says, you probably tell I definitely promote responsible drinking. I think that's a response to talking about like the Molson and Moosehead parties that you guys
Good
had,
for you, Michael.
Where you drink all that shit and then, yeah, I mean, it's one thing to go ride a bike after you're having a little bit of a buzz. I mean, don't fall into the road. You're not going to kill anybody. But in the car, you're going to kill somebody.
Could run into an old lady or something.
I rode a bike through one of those rest stops or the check stops. So I was like, hey, I was absolutely loaded. I'm like, yeah, do you need to see anything? It's like, no, just keep on riding. Okie dokie.
Even when like Nick and I and a few of our friends go for a brewery tour on bikes, one of us is always sober. Like, you know, one time Nick was sober and I drank till the cows came home.
No,
Andrew lived in Fredericton, and me and you, it's like we just swapped places driving.
Yep. And
that was super fun. I want to do that again.
Yeah, let's do it this year.
Do it.
Get another shirt.
Continue.
All right. Guinness. Greg says $25 for 12 at Costco. Which one was that? Guinness?
Yeah, Guinness 0%. So I mean, if it's about I think $11 or $12 a 4-pack at LCBO or beer store. So if you like it, Costco's a good way to go.
Yeah, I think it's like
Costco Ontario.
That is Ontario.
You know, in Superstore, it was like anywhere between $10 and $13, I think. Getting it on sale. It was 10. I said Muskoka Beer Lime Lager was refreshing as hell. I really fucking love that one. That's the second one I did, and I won that night's episode, I think. It's because I drank the entire fucking 4-pack in one shot just because it was so good.
I'm gonna try that.
I could even the Guinness. Yes, I could drink.
And now I kind of want to look for that because
Muskoka Beer Lime. You would, check it out. It probably has too many carbs though. Muskoka Canadian. Yes, it is. It's from just north of Toronto.
What's that? Gravenhurst?
Yep, Ontario. I think. Is it Gravenhurst? I think it's. Yeah, it's like close to there. It's like
Muskoka's in Muskoka.
Muskoka's is like Gravenhurst is Sawdust City
is Gravenhurst. Yeah.
I'm trying to curious. Like, where's the Muskoka brewery?
Oh shit! Brandon just subscribed to my YouTube channel. Boy, is he gonna be disappointed?
Yeah, he did.
Burglar all day, sons.
So Jimmy C was in the chat earlier, said hello, good evening. I tried to bring him up and say hello, but he's probably not watching anymore. Michael Verba says, see, we don't get that many Canadian brews here in New York, which is sad.
Yeah, but you know what? They get other half, so they're good.
Well, that's
I think
true.
but it's American though. It's American.
Other half is fucking fantastic. I've had a couple of them thanks to Joe, but it was like 6 years ago now.
Oh, Joe.
Right. All right. Sad to say. Yeah, I'm in New Brunswick, right? Yes, I am in New Brunswick. So is the Scott.
My brother's in Newfoundland right now. He's bringing me a whole bunch of beers from Dildo.
He's a new
Brewing. He's bringing me beers from Dildo Brewing. He's bringing me beers
That's
from.
gonna be awesome.
Yeah, he's
good.
He's picking up a bunch of beers for me. He's like, "You want this one? You want this?" I'm like, "Yes." Just keep bringing me beers. So I'm gonna have a whole bunch of East Coast beers.
I heard Dildo's, but I had a beer from a Newfoundland brewery recently called Banished. It was kind of boring.
Mm-hmm. Now, if anybody wants, and I say Jamie, if anybody wants to isolate Nick saying "dildo's good," do so.
Right. I know.
There's your chance.
Michael Verbo says, "I'm on the carbs today. You should be smoking cigars." Chris, you should be smoking cigars.
No. We're on the vape.
No,
sons.
Oh,
there you go.
There's Greg's numbers. Dan's not here to enjoy it.
That's my
Dan,
all-time.
turn around and look.
That's my all-time.
1665.
He's gonna turn around and start speaking in an accent from the Orient
because he's eating.
I think we have fucking. They don't make it fucking easy to find your fast thing. So that's.
Oh my god, that's how good. That's how good, Greg.
That's how good. I gotta say.
That's a good
all right,
number.
so Brandon says my friend and his dad's landscaping company have contracts in Moosehead for their property. They've had to go over so many safety and emergency protocols. They said Moosehead is very strict. What's the deal with your wrestling belt back there, Dan? This is for you.
He's a champ.
Looks sweet. Real replica belt. Yeah, Brandon's into wrestling. I'm pretty sure he's probably seen
I did answer it.
It's a real thing.
I did answer it, but just in case, here you go. There it is.
So is that a replica or?
Yeah, it's a replica.
No, it's the real one. Jesus
Christ,
I stole this. I just don't tell anyone I stole this from
like Dan's heavyweight championship.
Listen, I've held more championship belts than you have.
Yeah.
Wow.
But how heavy is that belt? How heavy is that belt?
It weighs in about almost 8 pounds, actually. 6 to 8 pounds.
What are you gonna say, Dan? Go ahead.
You know what, Scott?
Tell me.
Can
tell me.
Scott, I'm jealous, but fuck you.
I feel like the only reason for that belt is that Dan likes to have a competition of 30 naked women in Jello every single Saturday, and he awards them the belt. But
I thought that was your sex club.
Well,
Greg,
you weren't supposed
to. Greg, thank you for subscribing to that area. Just don't pass it on to anyone else, okay?
Listen, everyone knows Greg is not good at keeping secrets, so don't tell Greg anything you don't want him to know.
Yeah.
All right,
Dan, you are not the authority of professional wrestling here. I'm sorry.
Wow.
All right, so Michael Verwis says, don't worry, Dan. I don't like President Mistake either, as my mom calls him. President Muskie, right? Scott Meyer says 243 is 34 weeks plus 5 days. Put it in a barrel on a Sunday and wait 34 weeks, and then take it out on a Friday. Okay.
That's math.
Greg, the African words for banana is pisang, which looks and sounds like it could come as a curse word or something.
Pisang?
It could be a slur.
You know what? Go pisang yourself.
Go pising yourself.
Pisang.
Okay.
Or at least
I want to. You know what? I think I'm gonna go, guys. I gotta go play with my pising. Yeah, that works.
Play with your pising. Pising this.
I'm gonna play with my pice. I'm gonna go play with my pising until I banana.
Jesus Christ! All right, so lost the spot here. So Morrison, it's a boot belt that I got last weekend. Michael, good to hear. Sorry, you have to deal you're in him for 4 years. Again, Western Canadian Beer Reviewer, you said a mouthful. One of my friends who passed away from cancer 10 years ago and was from Ontario originally was a huge Maple Leafs fan. Said we Americans.
Maple
America.
Leafs are,
Fuck yeah.
I don't follow sports, but apparently Maple Leafs are a great team.
They're
I hear.
When?
Yeah. If they don't choke,
until the first round of the playoffs.
not like Greg's mom where they choke like on Chris's penis.
Wow, Jesus
Whoa.
Christ, Nick.
Oof.
Oh,
That was,
wow.
6 inches of them.
All
Wow.
14 inches of Chris's penis. That's sweet though. I love the belt.
Oh.
That's what I did too. I choke on Greg's. No. I'm sorry for your friend that passed away. Fuck cancer. Yeah, fuck. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. But
I mean, yes, it was 10 years ago, and this is kind of why I do the whole dry January, dry February. Well, you guys do it occasionally. I am on my 6th year. Yes, Greg, you made more money than I have so far in 1 year total.
I'm not trying to steal
But-
sympathy from Dan. I'm just like my
hold on.
cousin's wife
But-
died from cancer last year.
Over 6 years.
I have almost raised $5,000.
Good for you, bud.
Nice.
That's
So,
good.
I am $200 away from $5,000. So, and
You're
this
making a
year
difference, man.
it goes towards my aunt who is right now going through lung cancer, and she's on the long-term program for the next 2 years.
Thank God they've cured cancer already.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, thank God they cured the politics out there too. I mean, fuck, it's like stupidity in politics and cure cancer. Let's do this.
It's hiding behind a whole lot of walls. They already have the cure for cancer. We all know this.
If Nick goes dry next year, I want to donate like $7,000 to him just to piss Dan off.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
do it.
You know, I'm down
Do
for
it.
that. I know you have the money. So Michael Verbowitz says, "What about Athletic?" And he's talking about NA beers again. I bought some Athletic beers, and I was not impressed. The guy, I don't know.
I don't think I was too impressed with them either. Like a lot of these.
Yeah.
So, generally speaking, I find the best non-alcoholic beers are usually. I mean, Guinness 0% is kind of the exception because that's from a big brewery. Usually, the best non-alcoholic beers come from craft breweries that actually try to make it taste as close to a good, like a regular beer as possible, and then without alcohol. But again, you got like Bellwoods. Bellwoods Stay Classy, absolutely fantastic non-alcoholic beer, but it's like $4 a can. So like, kind of fuck you on that, like because it's like that's not. I'm not going to pay that much for a non-alcoholic beer. I'm just not. But I mean. You know, like, but again, Rorschach Brewing Toronto, they have a pretty good IPA. I know it's not accessible to most of you, but if you're ever in the Toronto area, you want to try a non-alcoholic IPA, you happen to be there. Their non-alcoholic IPA is really good, and I think it's like $2.95 a can last I checked, so it's more reasonable. Still, in my opinion, too expensive. I don't think a non-alcoholic should be more than $2, but whatever. You know, it's more in the reasonable spectrum, but. That's the problem with things, and you know, if I had a representative from the brewery right here, they would argue with me and saying, "Well, it still costs
the work
us,
that we put in, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
blah,
all the
blah,
work.
blah,
It still costs us the ingredients.
all the
I'm like,
ingredients,
and I get that.
yeah.
I
And
get
then you
that.
look at Compliments Blonde Ale, and it tastes just
Well,
as good.
I was gonna get there, but I was
Yeah.
gonna say like,
Yeah, let me
you
just
know,
finish
like,
it off.
I was gonna say.
It costs you just as much on ingredients on an alcoholic beer, plus you have to pay the taxes. So there's no fucking
you're
way
paying the
you can
taxes
tell
on
me.
top of it with the alcohol, and yet they're charging almost the same.
Yeah,
fucking
so
thing.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're trying to make more profit, and I can understand that, but at least be honest about it and don't bullshit us. And yes, what Dan said, if you want a lager that's just a basic beer that tastes like a lager, Compliments Blonde is by far bang for buck the best IPA. It tastes like a fucking lager. In fact, it's better than a lot of macro lagers like fucking Molson Canadian or Labatt Blue or fucking Budweiser. It's better than all those. Not even non-alcoholic, just it's better than them taste-wise. And it's non-alcoholic. And you can get it for, depending what store you buy it on, what sale you get on, you get it for between, oh, I'm very burpy right now. Sorry. You get it for between $6 to $8 a 12 pack. So you cannot fucking beat that for bang for buck. Guinness Zero is absolutely fucking amazing. If you like Guinness, try it. It literally, there's no reason, unless you want the alcohol buzz, which fair enough, I can understand if you do. But if you just want the taste, Guinness 0% is pretty much a Guinness. It's overpriced as well. It's almost as expensive as regular Guinness, which I don't agree with. But you are getting a really good beer for that price. So, or a non-alcoholic beer for that price. So,
I have a statement. If you get the PCNA beers with the savings that you get from the PCNA beers, buy a 24 pack of Solo cups, and no one knows the difference.
Okay.
There you go. Exactly. And
All right.
you know, I want to hold on. I want to jump in for a second because being introduced to hop water, thanks to Greg,
I love hop
I realize one thing.
Oh, hop water is really good.
I realize one thing. It's either you want alcohol in your drinks or you don't. It's one or the other. I mean, why bother? Okay, I can understand why you want to have an NA beer because it tastes like beer. You want to have that taste that you're simulating that you're actually having booze, which you're not. But if you're going to that level, why the fuck are you paying $4 a fucking can for something that has no ABV? You might as well just go to something that fucking go to fucking anything else. Like
Shirley
hop water
Temple.
the hop water that yeah, exactly. Or hop water that Greg introduced me to. I've never had a hop water until he sent me these three, and I was like, oh my god, this is fucking delicious. It's not like it's a beer that is, it's not like it's an NA beer that you're
basically
trying
a
to
flavored
simulate a
Perrier.
beer. It's basically, yeah, exactly. It's spring water, carbonated spring water that has a hop flavor that you already know what the hop flavor characteristics are in a non-alcoholic kind of spritzer, basically what it is. So I don't understand why people would pay $2-3 or more for an NA beer. For what reason? It doesn't make any sense to me. Either you want the booze and you want to get a buzz, or if you're not looking for the buzz, then why the fuck are you even paying for an NA beer that might taste like beer? Go for something else. That's my point.
So go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say, I go to parties where everyone's drinking, and I want to drive home and sleep in my own bed.
Yeah,
I will pick up a 6-pack of NA beers, right? And maybe it's a little bit close to the price of a 6-pack of alcoholic beers, but I'll pick up a 6-pack of NA beers and a pack of Solo cups, and enjoy the taste of beer. And everyone doesn't fucking know. And at the end of the night, I start walking down to my car with my keys in my hand. They're like, "Whoa, Scott, you had 6 beers." I'm like, "Yeah, but they were all NAs." And I walk and I go home.
I get that, but I mean, does it really matter if it's an NA beer? It could have been a fucking soda water that spritz with lime. It doesn't really in a soda cup. It doesn't really matter.
But there's
it's price wise, right? Judgment.
There's judgment.
That's what
right?
people are thinking, right? I get
right. So it's a judgment thing where there's like, "Oh, Scott's drinking beer," or "Hey, Scott's drinking just water." "Oh, what are you drinking water for, Scott?" No, I'm drinking beer.
It's vodka water with no alcohol.
Well, and I'll also say, so here's the thing: is that I love hop water. I drink many hop waters a day. I probably drink
I know you do.
3 to 4 hop waters a day. But to me, it's a different experience. Like my wife likes Perrier's. She drinks fucking like 6 Perrier's a day, maybe more. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a different experience. Like even with a hop water, it's delicious. I love them, but it's a different experience than even a non-alcoholic beer. Now, again, a lot of non-alcoholic beers are not good. And that's kind of a thing that's been happening for the last 30 years is that people have had a lot of like Molson Excels and it's like, oh, this isn't very good. And it's fucking, but they're getting better. They're still not where I'd like them to be, especially price wise. But last night was a perfect example where last night my wife and I sat down to watch the new Netflix special. I think it was the Murder of Gabby Bettino. So it was a 3-episode thing. And I love to drink beer while we're watching something together. And that was a weird noise. So, but I said yesterday, I'm like, no, I had a little too much beer over the family day weekend. So I'm like, no, I'm taking a day off beer, no beer tonight, but I felt like beer. So I was like, okay. So I popped open a Compliments Blonde. I popped open a Guinness 0%, and then I was still in the mood for another beer, so I had another Compliments Blonde. And at the end of the day, I was like, I'm satisfied. I don't feel like I need, like, at that point, I'm just like, I don't need a beer at all. I had 3 beers, and I mean, calorie wise, I mean, it was still some calories, but I mean, the 3 of them put together was like less than 250 calories. So that's like 1 IPA. So, I mean, in terms of weight loss, which, I could lose a few pounds. In terms of weight loss, I mean, I took in less calories than if I drank 3 IPAs. It's healthier for my liver than if I drank 3 IPAs. And I said I wasn't going to drink, and I didn't drink, but I still went to bed happy. So, I think I do have it.
It's
I do have an,
It's an
it is
illusion.
it is. I agree with
100%.
you on that. But it still satisfied me whether it's an illusion or not. And do I agree with you on the price? Yes, I do think non-alcoholic beer is still overpriced. It shouldn't cost what it
100%
does.
they are.
But it is.
When
It's one of those
you're
things.
telling me Guinness Zero is $1 less per can.
I think it's
then what's the
$1 less
point?
per. I think it's $1 less per. I could be wrong. I'd have to look at the prices, but I think a 6-pack of regular Guinness is $13 or $14 for a 4-pack, and the Guinness Zero I think is $11 to $12, something like that. So yes,
So
it's too close to what it is, and I agree with you. If you're in the mood for a beer and you don't give a fuck whether you have alcohol or not, you'd be stupid to buy the Guinness 0%. But if you do, if for whatever reason you can't drink beer. Maybe you can't drink beer, don't want to. It's a health reason,
or alcohol in general. Yeah,
even maybe a religious reason. I don't know. It's nice that there is a substitute for Guinness. If you happen to like Guinness and you want that, but you can't drink the alcohol, it's nice that there is.
Basically, what you're saying is that Guinness Zero is basically exactly like Guinness, regular Guinness with the booze in it, almost to a T, right?
It's pretty close. The only I want to do a side-by-side taste test at some point, but basically
are they both nitroed?
They're both nitroed. They're both nitroed. The only thing I notice is that regular Guinness is just a little bit more bitter, and 0% is just a little bit sweeter. But it's not a big difference at all. I am going to do for St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison. I haven't.
We're going to do a dual review on that one.
Hell yeah, why not? Well, I'd be happy to.
Sure.
Now again, this is why I will up and down swear that Compliments Blonde is amazing, because it's fucking dirt cheap. Like, what does it work out to? $6.99, I think, is the normal price I pay for a 12-pack. So that's less than $1 a can. And I will tell you, it is just as good as any fucking regular basic bitch lager. Is it amazing? No. But if you're somebody who just wants to enjoy a bunch of Molson Canadians or fucking like Budweisers, I'll tell you, this is just as good without the alcohol. If you want the alcohol, that's a whole different story. But in my mind, if you're in the mood,
I am muted. What the fuck?
If you're in the mood for
How
beer,
long have I been muted for? Fuck.
I don't know. I don't know. We haven't heard you talk or complain for a while. It was great.
Well, I was just starting to complain. It's like, okay, let's bring this back here. We got to read the rest of the comments. So let's basically start with Brandon. Yes, that's sweet, but a real one. Yes, that's sick. Oh wow, that's the real deal. It would be there.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Where it says "p-sang," that's that word for banana is "p-sang." So yeah, I mean, penis is not a stretch. I have a cheap Walmart WWF I bought when I was a kid for like $20, but my dog ate half of it. Ha ha ha.
You need to get that dog to a vet. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, I imagine the dog's probably dead by now. We would appreciate all you guys who've raised money for cancer. That's awesome. Not the same Walmart bill. It's like $70. Maybe if I had a whole thing and the dog didn't eat half, blah 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 blah.
Like $35.
Probably want to read the went to not cheap WD shop. Blah blah. Just in the last 6 months, a buddy from Halifax got me in the back in wrestling first time in 13th and watching it now. So this is where it comes into the wrestling thing. I think Scott's retired from refereeing now, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm on emergency. I'm on emergency contract.
You're the stunt cock. Okay, so we've been doing a lot of local wrestling shows in St. John and Halifax the past few months. So Scott, if you ever get called up again, those belts are cool, man. I really love that. I have a lot of respect for that. One left what I have here is off of Facebook Marketplace. It was much cheaper than it looks is good. And if you're not looking at closely, you can't tell that it's a boot belt. Yeah, that's awesome. So FLX Beer Review says, cheers, gang.
What's up, Danny?
We've been running long enough that it's attracted attention to multiple people. All this, and nobody's mentioned Heineken 0.0. Heineken 0.0 is not terrible. I've not had Peroni.
I don't know if I've had Heineken Zero or not. I have to check.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
And I'm assuming this High Dan is for FLX Beer Reviews.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
It's
circle back
most likely
around.
Dan. It could be Mike, but it's most likely Dan running that channel.
Oh, Dan.
All right, so let's circle back around and just see, like, of all the beers here, Scott, that you heard here tonight, which one would you rather have had?
Well, man, I don't know. I liked Chris's description of his beer, but I think I'm gonna go with Nick's Trailway.
Oh,
Ooh. Okay.
Because Nick convinced me that the coffee in it isn't as bad as I thought it was. I don't like the taste of coffee, but I do like the taste of chocolate and vanilla, so I'm gonna go with Nick's coffee.
Sweet. Thank you, sir. Let's go over to the who's next? We got Chris. Chris, of all the beers you heard it, blah blah blah.
I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I like Dan's beer. I want Dan's beer right now in my mouth all day. Dan, give me your beer.
What's Dan in your mouth?
It's in my belly. Can't do it.
Fuck.
All right.
My mouth is wide open for that beer. God damn it.
Give me about 2 hours.
Ooh,
Your mouth is gaping for Dan's beer.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll
So,
take Dan's beer.
all right. Thank you, Chris. Let's go over to Greggy. No, Dan. Dan's next. Shit. Fucking.
We look the same, Nick. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. They're playing me off here, so I'll do this really quickly. I'm really sorry. But Nick, yours.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I want tiramisu.
God
I want
damn it.
tiramisu. I want that dessert beer.
The tiramisu. Okay. All right. Let's go over to Greg and see, Greg, which of all the beers you're here tonight, which one would you rather have?
Well, I mean, I always would like to try Counterpart beers. I do like Counterpart quite a bit, but they're a lot like Bellwoods in that they make good quality beers, but they make a lot of styles that I'm not that big into, and Chris is more into. So when he says something's fantastic, I'm like, I'm probably going to try the same beer and not agree with him, and that's okay. But that being said, I don't because I've tried a lot of Counterpart beers, and to me, a lot of their hazes are pretty similar. I'm not going to. As much as I do like an IPA from them, I will probably not vote for him. Nick sounds interesting, but at the same time, it sounds desserty, and I'm not a big dessert beer kind of person. So as much as it pains me, I'm going to give Dan my vote.
Oh shit!
All right.
Dan-
So
Dan
that
has to
means-
And I totally
That
ignored
means-
Scott, but I love Scott too. Hi, Scott. I voted for Dan. He's got more ABV than you do.
all right. So it comes down to me. So Scott's beer I've had. I fucking love that beer, but I'm not going to vote for it because I actually have one in my fridge. Still.
Shit.
Dan's
Racist.
beer. Okay, so Greg's beer, Nickelbrook Headstock. You know what? I am stupid curious to see what that's like, but I feel like Chris's and Dan's are way more interesting. Dan's beer is, I mean, of course, how can you not want to try a bourbon barrel aged stout? But then Chris described what that Thunder IPA tastes like, and I'm like, okay, I want that. My vote's gonna go to Chris.
What?
What? All right.
2 for Nick.
So it's 2 for me
1 for
and there's
Dan.
two for Dan.
2 for me.
Okay, so who didn't vote for Nick or Dan?
So who voted
Yeah,
for
whoever.
Dan? I got 2 Dan for Dan. So it's Greg voted for Dan and it was Chris that voted for Dan, right?
Yeah, and
Okay,
I
so-
voted for you.
Scott voted for me and Dan voted for me.
Well,
So
who'd
that's a
you
2-8.
vote?
We're
Okay,
at
so
time.
Nick, you're the tiebreaker.
Yeah, so you can't vote for
Well,
the
I
one you
can't- I
voted
can't
for.
I can't vote for myself, so I'm gonna have to turn.
No, you
chat.
can. You can vote
Can't
for
vote for
yourself.
me.
You
Okay,
can't vote for
well,
yourself.
okay, hold on. Everyone who's in the comments, your choices are either
Oh, shit.
Dan or Nick. Everyone in
Dan
the
or me.
comments, put your votes in, and whoever votes, will count you. You have 30 seconds to vote.
Well, there's a 6 second delay, but anyway.
Okay, you got 36 seconds to vote.
You have 10 seconds to vote. Go.
I'm trying to see there's 4 people watching and I'm one of them, so there's 3 other people.
Oh.
Yeah, are we gonna get it? Are we gonna get it?
Are we actually gonna get a vote?
Is Brandon still awake this late?
I think
I wanna-
Brendan should vote for me because I've got a cool belt.
Oh,
Ren-
shut up. Shut up.
There it is.
Shut up.
There's
Ren-
one, but that
Ren
doesn't
will
count as
vote-
Chris.
Ren will vote for me,
Boo.
'cause I'm,
No,
Yeah,
off the
Chris
10.
doesn't count. He's
Boo.
already
Chris
voted for
doesn't
me.
count. He's already voted.
And Chris doesn't count.
Damn it.
Everyone left because we were talking
Sorry,
about
Dan,
NA
I
beers
tried.
too long.
I know. Thanks for trying.
Also, I'm on there too. So
we still have 5 viewers.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm on there too, though. So I'm one of those viewers.
I'm not watching her, so there's at least one person. It might be Brandon's probably already gone to bed, which is where I should be.
Oh, fucking Joe
He
wins.
votes for
Fuck off.
Joe. Joe wins. You know what? I could go with that.
No, a man without a uniform cannot win. It's simple math. Come on.
Nick's
mean-
pushing hard, but
Are we calling for a tie here?
I'm just gonna have to.
No.
Hey.
Say Dan's wearing the belt. Vote for Chad. Who's Chad?
I'm gonna throw this up here because
I
I'm
vote
just
for
gonna,
Gold. Who the fuck is
Who's
Gold?
Gold-
I
who's
guess-
Golden
I guess
Man?
Golden Man is me.
Oh, that's gonna be Dan.
Okay,
Dan.
that answers the
Dan
question.
wins.
So
There
the
it
winner
is.
is
Oh,
Dan's the winner.
Dan.
Dan.
Dan, the man with the mid-sized sedan.
Oh,
Dan.
fuck! When Brandon calls in sick tomorrow, Nick is so ratting him out.
yeah. That's
Dan
all I
wins.
need.
And so Dan's now carrying the championship.
Oh, what a good
Yeah.
chat tonight. I love it.
Dan's got the championship belt.
Damn
Sad
right.
times. Sad times.
Speech.
No. Just go to the,
I'd like to thank
Wrap
my
it up.
mom,
wrap
my
it
brother.
up. Wrap it up. No, wrap it up.
I like to
Greg,
thank
no,
everybody
Greg.
else except for Scott, who's trying to chase me off the stage.
No, wrap it up. We've gone over time.
Listen, Dan, from experience, I'll tell you, don't introduce your mom to Chris. Just don't do it.
Fair enough. I'd like to
Keep
You're
thanking
over time. You're over time. You're over time.
Keep thanking
Well, he's
everybody.
out. He's
All
out.
right. Yeah, I
Oh,
think we're
well.
all out. I'm gonna take this thing offline, but thanks for watching, everybody. I really love the audience participation. Great to have you back on there, Chris. So we got Michael Vergowitz
Thank you,
and
Nick, for hosting.
Brandon and GBC showed up and FLX beer reviews. Oh, nice to see you guys again. Hopefully that means good things in the future for BA 101.
In it to win it.
Back up there. We're in it to win it. Penis.
Penis.
We'll talk later. Cheers.
Whatever that word for penis is that I can't remember, but yeah.